What's that? It's the cabbage cart. The cabbage cart is here.
It's got square wheels. That's why it's making that sound.
No, they're like a perfect shape to like do the. What would you call that shape?
Like a gear.
Seems like very specific, where it's like chuck, and then it's a pause. And then
it sounds like straight eighth notes, but with an emphasis on every third note. So it's a 3-wheeled cabbage cart, sort of.
Ooh!
But then it's like.
So maybe it's like the Sam Bridges motorcycle, where all of the wheels are square and they're like slightly misaligned.
And they're slightly okay, yeah. The reverse tricycle with cabbage cart with square wheels, maybe triangle wheels.
The really modern cart. Hop aboard.
Hey, why do all my cabbages have bruises on them? Didn't even know you could bruise cabbages. How did you fuck up this bad?
I had to take these cabbages through ghost fields. That's what it is. Who is this content for? That's the sound that my sprinkler made, I feel like.
Yeah, everyone's sprinkler makes that sound.
Directly hardwired into the online.
I got one of those Wi-Fi sprinklers.
They probably make those.
I can go on Twitter on this sprinkler. Welcome, this is about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Today's episode...
Hey, Alexis, send water to my fields, to my crops.
Hey, Alexis?
Welcome to my pod cabbages. My name is Summer.
My name's Noah. The episode we're covering is Avatar Day. Do you have any trivia or anything?
I sure do. Here's a bit of trivia for Avatar Day, the episode. What a good fucking episode.
Yeah, that's some trivia.
Did you know? It's a good episode. There's actually a lot of trivia for this one. I'm just going to kind of fire it off.
Okay.
So this is the first time in the second book that Zuko mentions that he has a goal of capturing the Avatar, which is actually kind of interesting because I almost kind of felt like the energy that Zuko was giving off was that he had given that up.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to hear him say that again. We'll get to that.
Yeah, he's like procrastinating. He's like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll do it.
That piece of trivia included, a lot of this trivia is like kind of moment specific. So I'll try to like skip that until it's relevant. But I have to share this trivia, even though it's like mild spoilers, kind of, but like,
okay.
And it's completely irrelevant to this episode. But the writers of the wiki thought it was relevant to mention as a bit of trivia for this episode that this is the last episode prior to Toph's introduction.
Okay.
We just know it's that important that it must be mentioned. One episode pre-Toph.
This is the last time Toph isn't here.
This is the last time you have to suffer waiting for Toph to show up. And they bring it up again. There's a second piece of trivia. This is the only episode in book 2 prior to Toph joining the group where the kids do not mention the search for an earthbending teacher. They're just like really excited about Toph. I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
Another bullet point on this is the first time hair loopies are mentioned by their name.
Yeah.
By their proper name. hair loopies.
Essential knowledge facts here.
I'm gonna go ahead and like say also that the term hair loopies is a link with an article
Hair
attached. No, this is interesting though. More hair loopies facts. Sokka foreshadows events in season 3 as he speaks of losing his boomerang, Aang losing his arrow, and Katara losing her hair loopies. These things come to occur over the course of the 3rd season.
Oh, I watched the show so many times that I didn't even know that.
So
or
interesting.
I did know that, but I didn't even
think about it.
Think about that.
Those are like their identifying qualities.
Yeah.
And that's all we really have for trivia. This is a really good episode, though, like in that it's a perfect example of just like how good the show is at balancing like really lighthearted humor and like really good messages.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they do such a good job of just having lots of really genuinely, like I did a lot of actual laughing out loud, whether or not the jokes actually deserved it.
Yeah.
But God, it's like just so perfectly silly. And then also in the middle of that, you get these really jarringly poignant moments.
Yeah. I'll say it is a filler episode.
Is it?
Yes, but it is good still.
I don't know.
Like there's a couple of like plot relevant points, but they only make up maybe like a minute total.
It makes me sort of question what the definition of a filler episode is then, because like I just feel like this episode is just so important to what Avatar is as a whole that it doesn't really matter what's happening for like the overall plot necessarily.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like this episode is a perfect example of like why this show is just so good.
Yeah.
It
like, is. I'm not saying that it's bad.
Right. No. But you could by that logic, you could also just say like all of the episodes in Nichijou are filler episodes.
It's true.
This episode is actually really funny in that the whole thing is basically at the like it all starts literally because of a spider. All of it is it's like that domino meme, and the first thing that happens is there's a spider.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't know that it was like a spider's fault.
We get that spider in Appa's mouth.
It's in Sokka's mouth, actually.
No, it's in Appa's mouth. What are you talking about?
Then why does... Wait.
Noah's right. It's just
like the angle...
Sokka has such a big fucking mouth.
You're looking at the shot and you're thinking, how did they get the camera inside Sokka's mouth? It has to be Appa's mouth.
Spider's Sokka.
Spider's Sokka.
Spider's Sokka.
Spider's Sokka.
What happens is Momo does something with the spider. He tries to grab it or something?
Yeah, he just kind of like... It reminds me of like the meme of like someone like grabbing Kermit the Frog's throat kind of thing.
Yeah, Momo sticks his hand inside of Appa's mouth.
Lunges
to get the spider.
No, Sokka's... Wait, did you say Appa or Sokka?
And then there's like a huge kind of uproar, and this alerts the nearby Fire Nation soldiers, who then come running after them and surround them with their... What are they called? Hungry boys? Angry?
The rough rhinos.
Rough rhinos. Hungry rhinos.
Hang on. They're a military unit.
They don't have rights either way.
They're Navy SEALs.
Ugh. They're seals?
No, they're rhinos. They're the rough...
You can put that on the list of animals that are only one animal.
Navy SEALs, rough rhinos, smooth snakes.
Wait. Now this... Did we talk about this with Alex? Are rough rhinos a combination of something? Like, what's the rough?
No, I thought the rough rhinos were like literally the... It's the name of the... It's not the name of the animal. It's the name of the gang.
Oh, this whole time I was thinking that was what the rhinos were called.
They're
no. Species.
Species. This one's pretty rough, actually.
I was like, mixed with the animal of rough.
This is a soft cat. I'm going to call these cats soft cats.
I mean, that's kind of what we did with the Inus. The Inus, the Shibas.
Shiba Inus.
Yeah, because Inu just means dog.
Ooh, this dog kind of looks like a dog.
So they get surrounded by the rough rhinos.
They're riding on Komodo rhinos.
This is too much to hold in my head at once. They make a quick escape.
They get Katara's waterbending scroll, Aang's staff, and Sokka's boomerang.
Well, Sokka doesn't get his boomerang because they're in too much of a rush. And then, yeah. Sokka's like, wait, we had time for your shit and not mine? And Katara just does like the emoji, just like slight smile and just says, yep. They land somewhere to like pick up supplies. While they are doing their supply run in this earthbending town.
It's an earthbending town.
Or it's like an earth nation town.
It's an earth nation sort of village.
They run into a bunch of people talking about something called Avatar Day, which sounds very exciting. Aang is like, hell yeah, Kyoshi Town 2.
We find out that there's water bending, there's water tribe money too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know there was different types of money.
Yeah, I think they brought it up earlier. So they're off on the sidelines enjoying the festivities, and they wheel out these enormous figures. What would you call them? Like
just
giant
tall parade float statue looking things.
Of 3 avatars. There's Kyoshi. What's the other one? There's Kyoshi, Aang, and then
Roku.
Oh, Roku.
Because he was the 6th avatar.
Okay. And they're like, hell yeah, time to celebrate Aang and his past lives. And then this guy just kind of jumps out of nowhere and is just like, down with the avatar. And he just like lights one of them on. He doesn't just light it on fire. He like jumps through the middle of it, like tearing a hole. And just like lights the whole thing on fire. And then all 3 of the floats get set on fire.
Yeah. Oh, throughout this episode, Sokka's also like trying to speculate, like, since he lost his boomerang, like what his next thing.
Oh yeah.
His next signature item.
Yeah.
Is gonna be, and he was like looking at the torch and was like, maybe I can be like the torch guy.
He like bought something from someone and they're like, thanks, ponytail guy. And he was like, oh, I used to be boomerang guy.
Yeah.
It's cute. But before Aang's float can just entirely go up in flames, Katara runs out and puts all of the fire out with the conveniently placed water jugs.
Yeah, the water jugs.
Aang reveals himself, takes his hat off. Surprise, motherfuckers, it was me all along. But you couldn't tell with the hat.
His little Clark Kent glasses.
Yeah.
It's just his hat.
God, I do love how much the writers just kind of leaned into that joke.
Just
like consistently used. Katara is like, what's wrong with you guys? Aang is awesome. He's such a great guy. And Aang's like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm so nice.
Yeah. I'm a good boy.
I'm good. And then it is revealed that apparently Aang in a past life as Kyoshi murdered their leader. Is his name Chin?
Chin, yes. Chin the Great.
Chin the all right.
No, he was great.
Chin the
Chin the cool. Chin the
thanks for being here.
Chin the love to see him.
Chin the your best is good enough. And Aang is like, well, fuck this. I'm willing to go out on a limb and have a trial to clear my name.
Chin the he tried.
Chin the he's fine, but he's dead. They tell him that he can walk away with bail, but they don't accept water tribe money for some reason, even though the merchant sort of right next to the city did.
This is kind of like a sort of like a Bugs Bunny sort of situation where like they just easily just put them into like these social situations and they just kind of accept it easily. Like they could break out of jail like so easy and like run away, but they're like so like focused on
they're
like
just working through like like the social puzzle.
Yeah.
Instead of just leaving.
They could just leave.
There's literally like a part where Aang is in jail and he's like in his stocks and he's like in the stocks with his hands and his head fully locked away. And then just like he just has it like that for most of the episode, and then at one point he just like very easily just like slides out of it and like sets it aside to like have a conversation.
Yeah. It's really fun how like low stakes this episode actually is compared to like how much it's played up.
Sure. It's very like relaxing to watch. So they managed to trick Sokka into helping them. I don't know why they had to trick him to help.
He was just, I don't know, he was like,
was he not willing to help? And then they're like, well, don't you want to be a big boy solving the case?
I think Sokka was in like a depression identity crisis.
Right. He was distracted.
He was a little distracted. They gave him a little hat and a pipe, and now he's good.
Yes. Well, I think he pulled it out of his ass a little bit. He has this little Sherlock hat and this pipe that blows bubbles, which is adorable.
And he has a little, the hat has some sort of magnifying glass.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
very handy.
Head attachment, yeah.
A little monocle. This was another one of the fun facts. When playing detective, Sokka affects an unusual hat and ornate pipe. Sherlock Holmes, a detective created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, was often portrayed in magazine illustrations wearing an unusual deerstalker hat and smoking an ornately curved pipe. Here's a fun fact.
Okay.
A little Sherlock, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle allusion.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Mayor Tong's explanation of the murder included, there's like okay, here's one thing I do want to talk about. There was like a footprint outside of the temple that they were like, this is Kyoshi's footprint when she stepped outside and killed Chin.
Yeah.
Which seems wild. Like, this was a long time ago. How is there still this footprint in the ground there?
I'm going to assume that Kyoshi has very powerful steps, and she used earthbending. It was like just solid rock right there.
Okay.
She like imprinted her foot in the ground.
Not to do spoilers.
Okay.
But she didn't even do it. She wasn't the one who did that.
That's true. Oh, wait. The other guy was an earthbender.
Oh, he was an earthbender. Okay.
Chin was an earthbender.
Right. So, yeah. Okay.
They were both earthbenders.
That makes sense then.
Also, Mayor Tong's account was that Kyoshi came out of the temple to strike down the emperor, but Sokka used his little magnifying glass and he saw that the temple and the statue that was commemorating, what was that? The memorial statue of Chin.
So this is where this is part of the reason I didn't want to talk about this, because they explain, wait, the statue and the temple are made out of the same stone.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, what does that mean?
Because they said like Kyoshi emerged from the temple, but according to the account, Kyoshi emerged from the temple. But the statue was made.
Oh, it was the statue of Chin.
The statue of Chin was made to commemorate him after he died.
Gotcha.
So, and they were made from the same stone. So the temple couldn't have been there while he was still alive.
Do they ever explain this inconsistency?
No, I think they literally just like, the story's obviously.
Yeah.
This is like the first clue, like, this story seems a little warped now, but now we can't prove anything quite yet.
Okay, fair enough.
It's evidence. That's what evidence is.
Yes. So Sokka and Katara then travel to Kyoshi Island, which just seems like the next natural place to gather more evidence. And they are greeted by all of the wonderful people on Kyoshi Island that are big fans of Aang, and including Foamy Mouth Guy. Can't not mention him.
Has his own page.
Of course he does. What does it say?
Let's see the page for Foaming Mouth Guy. Earth Kingdom, personal information. allies, Aang. Enemies, Fire Nation. It doesn't even include like the fucking Kyoshi warriors, just Aang.
But they are escorted to the Kyoshi Shrine, I want to say. The shrine commemorating Kyoshi that's like full of all of her beautiful original memorabilia, which was actually really fun to see.
Yeah,
because
it's a very humble shrine.
Yeah.
For
like the most badass, powerful person to ever walk the earth.
The biggest and oldest, the longest living and the biggest avatar.
And like most powerful and most beautiful, etc., etc.
Just kind of looks
the gayest,
like
probably.
It's just in a little tent.
God, we just love Kyoshi. Kyoshi loving hours. Would love to see this whole show just redone with just Kyoshi.
Yeah.
Kyoshi direct action icon.
Avatar like starring Kyoshi and Momo with a gun would be 2 episodes long.
I'm pretty sure it would just be one.
It would just be one episode. They kill the Fire Lord in 10 minutes and they're good. Her boots big enough for her goddamn feet.
Boots are big enough for her goddamn feet. So they are looking at... Oh yeah, so that's a good example of something that they find here. The shoes are very large and the footprint that they saw was tiny. So it's like, well, that's obviously not Kyoshi's footprint. And then they also look at this mural, and there's a lot of very convenient information about this mural. I don't think I can like recite it, but like it happened to be painted on the exact day that this incident allegedly occurred, like 500 years ago or whatever it was. And it was called The Birth of Kyoshi. I don't think it was literally the day she was born, but
it's a painting. The Birth of Kyoshi Island.
Of the island, yes. Okay. Because we do get an explanation of how the island... Okay, yeah. This actually tracks now. So they discover, based on like the way the shadows are and everything, that the timing of the story was also skewed. They go ahead and just fly back and find the mayor of... What is this city called that they...
Chin Village.
They find the mayor of Chin Village, and they're like, we're back, bitch, and we have evidence. And he's like, evidence? That's not how any of this works. What? You think you can just come in here with evidence?
You can't just like... But what if I just don't like you? Backing up.
We missed a couple of extremely important scenes because...
Okay.
And maybe this marks our departure from relying on the wiki too much, because the wiki just decided to skip these like groundbreakingly important Zuko scenes.
Yeah.
I guess we have to go back to taking notes.
So Zuko's got he's back in his Blue Spirit cosplay, and there's like people, they just like seem like normal ass people, like villagers.
Can you even imagine?
With their food, and he just kind of gets his swords and he's like, this food's mine now, and he grabs it and he runs away, and he takes it back to Iroh, and Iroh's like, where'd you get this food? And it's like,
the details aren't important.
That's not
Uncle.
important. It doesn't matter. and then Iroh's like, okay, I'd love to have definitely not stolen food. This is great. And he still eats it anyways.
I mean, I think they're doing this because they literally don't have any other options.
Yeah. The next time we see Zuko, he's back at it again, being the Blue Spirit. But this time we see he's like a rich person.
He's just a classic rich motherfucker. Just he's just balls deep in a chest full of gold coins.
Yeah. Just
kind of rummaging through, just smelling, licking them.
That's what rich people do. They just kind of like they
Noah,
hold gold.
I think they literally might be doing that. So, anyway, we got a little carried away.
We got a little rich guy. He's licking his coins. He's putting them in his mouth and he's spitting them back into his coin treasure chest. Zuko, as a Blue Spirit, just like drops on the ceiling of this cart. He just like rips it open and he just grabs all the coins. and then he leaves. That's character development.
I guess, but I guess we know now that he's just taking it for himself too. But that's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sort of a Robin Hood moment for him. So they return to the Chin village. Mayor Tong says he is explaining that the way that their justice system works is that it's just him and the defendant, and the mayor will present the case. Aang or the defendant will explain their side, and then the mayor decides who is right. So,
and also another thing that we kind of glossed over is
I didn't get to say the joke.
Okay.
He says that's why it's called justice, 'cause it's just us.
That doesn't barely even make sense.
It's so stupid. Oh, great. The cat just pulled the doorknob off the door.
Okay, we're going to be podcasting forever. Another thing we glossed over is that Aang was like, he actually like made like friends with all the prisoners.
There is a scene where Aang is in the little prison, and there's like this really tough guy comes over in his chains, and he's like, "Oh, nice tattoos. I think you'll fit in really nicely here." And it's very intimidating, but then like we come back to them like a minute later, and Aang is just like bonding with all the prisoners, which rules. They're just like sharing personal stories and helping each other with their problems.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Show with laser writing would have just had them like getting in fights and whatever.
Yeah.
I love to see Aang just doing what he does best, is just like being friends with people.
Yeah, this is where he like takes his stocks off too. He's just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
He could just leave if he wanted to. He's like, I guess I'll see this through to the end.
Yeah, it's just the principle.
So the village comes out for the trial. They're all sort of around that Chin statue and the little shrine that everything took place.
Yeah.
And the mayor just explains, just says, "This is the Avatar. He killed Chin, and now Chin is dead." And that's pretty much all he says.
Yeah.
Over to you, Aang. Aang somehow does worse.
Yeah.
Than this explanation.
This scene is really good because he pretty much word for word, like, just explains exactly what I personally remember from all the evidence that was gathered.
Yeah, so we are to presume that Katara and Sokka, like, sort of gave Aang the rundown. And us even having seen it all, for some reason, it's just so convoluted that they hand the mic to Aang, and Aang says, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to tell you what really happened, and I will prove it with facts. Fact number 1, you see, I have very large feet," and he points to his tiny little feet. Furthermore, your
temple matches your statue.
But I was in a painting at sunset. So there you have it. I'm not guilty. God, it's so fucking funny.
I literally couldn't say it better myself just because my memory was so bad.
And Katara and Sokka look absolutely devastated. Zuko is explaining to Iroh, this is where the first time in the season that he finally restates his mission of capturing the Avatar to restore his honor. And Iroh, finally someone says it. He's like, "Zuko, but I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't think capturing the Avatar is gonna do shit or fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud." And Zuko's like, "Well, no, that can't be true, because if that's true, then there's no hope." And then Iroh says, "Okay, so much shit is happening right now in real life, and I've been feeling pretty depressed."
Okay.
I don't know about you. I was actually feeling pretty shitty today. And then Iroh pulls out this like absolutely beautiful, beautiful advice. And it like genuinely like had me tearing up a little bit. For anyone out there, anyone at home feeling a little under the weather these days, here's some good advice. You must never give in to despair. Allow yourself to slip down that road, and you surrender to your lowest instincts. In the darkest times, hope is something you give yourself. That is the meaning of inner strength.
Damn. Yeah. Zuko needs to learn the power of self-respect.
Yeah, just like Scott Pilgrim.
Just like Scott Pilgrim. He needs to
He needs to get a life and pull a sword out of his chest.
He's got one sword. Blue Spirit holds two swords. One is love and one is self-respect. And he's bad at both of them, and this is a bad metaphor.
Yeah, it sure is. So back at the trial, they somehow managed to have enough time to run back to Kyoshi Island and just like pick up all of Kyoshi's shit. You good? What's up?
Do you ever think if Jesus ended all his
Where the fuck is this going?
Do you wonder if Jesus ever ended all his parables just by saying the end?
He just like stands up and his knees are popping. God. You never think about how there were just like awkward moments with Jesus.
Probably.
Yeah, so now Aang is they dressed Aang up to look like Kyoshi with this enormous oversized kimono, these big old boots, and the beautiful little face paint. And they're like, I think this is gonna do something. They don't really have a plan. They just kind of like this is sort of a last resort situation. Yeah. And they were doing this as a way to quote like call a witness. And for a second they were like, this isn't allowed. We don't allow witnesses. But it's like, well, I gotcha. Kyoshi is technically Aang, so this one counts. And they're just kind of sitting around like waiting for something to happen. Katara's like, well, surely this will work. Look at all this shit that he's got on. And Sokka's like, well, I do believe in the power of shit.
Mm-hmm. They just wait around.
Yeah, they're just like,
and they're like, she'll be here. There's a suspense moment. Chin is officially about to convict the Avatar guilty, but then at the last second, Aang just turns into a tornado.
At the last second, thank God, Kyoshi does show up, and she stands there and she's like, yeah, I fucking killed him.
Yeah, he killed him. And then
what of it?
And then she leaves.
She just walks away. She actually has the true story to tell, and it's that Chin was a terrible, tyrannical ruler, and she fucking killed him because he was awful, and like he was expanding his military all over the place, and she's just like having none of it. Mm-hmm. She's like just completely unapologetic about it. It rules.
There's like some sort of like map montage of his like conquerings, and it seems to imply that he pretty much founded the entire Earth Kingdom in a way.
It's weird that we've never heard of him until this episode, but
yeah, the Earth Kingdom's huge.
It is quite large.
It's pretty much the whole world. Everyone else has like little islands.
The wiki describes Chin as surprisingly short, which just seems unnecessary. Actually, like in the little flashback sequence that we get about Kyoshi's encounter with him, she doesn't even really directly kill him. She basically, in order to like protect her people, just creates this enormous like unbelievably large rift. I mean, it literally like divides this continent basically.
So she should have said like, I didn't kill him, but I wish I did.
I fucking wish it had been me, but it was just because he was so stupid that he was standing on the edge of this cliff when I separated the land. Yeah, so he just crumbled into this rift that she created and left his lonely little footprints just on the edge as he went down.
So she made a whole island.
She did just make an entire island just by herself in like 10 seconds.
Do you ever get so mad you make an island?
Well, that is kind of what I did with Animal Crossing.
That's what happens. You get mad, you buy Animal Crossing, profit.
And then here's a good example. Like, so Kyoshi just kind of fucks off. She's like, I rest my case. And then everyone's like, well, great. I guess you are guilty then. I don't know what we're going to do about this. And then they're like, bring out the wheel of punishment. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like, this was such a moving scene. And you had Kyoshi's like echoing beautiful voice. And then it like just cuts back to this absolutely ridiculous farcical like stupid, especially because we were like looking at all of them. There was like eaten by shark, like bed of nails, razor pit.
They're just like, well, I bet we don't have to think about that for too much. Back to normal.
And there's also just like a section that's just like community service. All right. Now, wait. We do have another Zuko scene before we actually spin the wheel. Okay,
yeah. So before they get to the wheel of punishment.
So this scene is the one where Zuko basically tells Iroh, I think you've taught me well enough to know that the rest of my journey now will be spent alone. So they're parting ways, which makes me sad. Yeah. I hate to see it.
Yeah.
But knowing, how the rest of the show goes, I am also excited.
Yeah. And Iroh's like very respectful of this, surprisingly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, because he knows that Zuko is right. And like, I think he was probably waiting for Zuko to like reach this point.
Yeah.
And he's probably proud to see that Zuko is ready to do that.
Iroh's such a good dad. So, Wheel of Punishment. We got...
Wheel of Punishment. We got Bear Hug. Platypus Bear Hug. We got Burned at the Stake. We got Razor Pit. Bed of Nails. Community Service. There's a very mysterious one in the bottom corner there that I don't know that we necessarily will ever get to find out what that is.
Eaten
just
by
an
shark.
Upside, just a guy with a squiggly line next to his head. It's just it looks like that fucking like Mario Kart or Mario Party mini game where you're like swinging from vines.
Okay, swinging
from vines.
They might have drawn that and hoped that
it never came up.
It never
just was some random
like
shapes.
covered the whole time. Okay, so he spins the wheel and looks like it's boiled in oil. Like here come the Navy SEALs. Here come the rough rhinos.
Yeah. Never mention the actual
And here comes the rough.
Wait, there's a beat in this scene that's very funny where he says, looks like it's boiled in oil. And then there's just like silence and Aang is just like staring at the ground like all sad. And like no one is saying anything. And it's just really funny. But he's drawn out of his reverie by an actual bomb.
He's like, it just like sits there for a little bit and no one even reacts to it until it explodes.
I mean, my first thought on seeing it was just that like someone in the crowd was just like mad and throwing like rotten fruit or something.
Okay.
So I just don't think people had necessarily time to process exactly what it was. But yeah, the rough and rowdy boys are here with their bombs and their guns.
The rowdy rhinos.
And suddenly they want Aang's help, but he's supposed to be boiled in oil until
the mayor shifts the wheel a little bit to community service and is like,
serve your community and fight those rough and rowdy boys.
Fight those rowdy boys, Avatar.
And Aang is like, I got this. And he jumps off with his little fans. This is fun because something I learned when I was learning Bagua is that like one of the female versions of Bagua is done with fans. So this is like an actual martial art that he's doing with these little fans.
Yeah.
I do love to see it.
And he's still doing his Bagua, but
but now it's more powerful. I don't know why he doesn't just do that.
Yeah.
You got a little extra oomph in your air. Mm-hmm. Those fans. And they're like fucking metal fans too, as you find out like when he drops them at some point and they're like clang.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bending fight time.
Bending fight time. Aang does this whole fight in the Kyoshi makeup.
Regalia. Sokka really comes through in this fight sequence, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Even like initially without his boomerang, he runs in, he uses his, well, actually, I don't think he did this on purpose, but he pulls his little monocle thing out and it like shines almost like the way a magnifying glass in the sunlight will like catch an ant on fire or whatever. Shines it into the light of one of the soldiers. Like I said, I think it was an accident because then the soldier turns around and shoots an arrow at Sokka, which just like, I think it's like a flaming arrow too.
Yeah, he shoots a fire arrow at Sokka.
Just straight at him.
And he's going for a headshot.
But he misses, catches Sokka's Sherlock hat.
Because his hat's so big.
He got distracted by the hat. And it's like when you're driving and you're looking at something and you start drifting towards it. The hat gets blown. It's like a wig situation. Like, and the hat goes flying back with the flaming arrow onto like a pack of bombs on another soldier.
And then the hat acts as tinder to like set it goes ablaze.
So I guess I said that this was all Sokka, but he made an accident and then the other soldier just fucked it up. But then the sack. Sorry. The sack.
The nut sack. A scrungus. The horngle to a scrungus.
Stop. The newt sack of the horny boy, the rough and rowdy boy, becomes loose and rolls over to Sokka. And what's that? Sokka's boomerang is inside of it. And looks like boomerangs always do come back. That's a joke I just came up with.
Wow. You're such a good jokester.
So smart and funny. Yeah, I mean, I was actually saying this is a very clever, like, Deus Ex Machina kind of way, just giving the boomerang back. Because, like, we'll allow it because it's fucking funny.
Yeah, it's a boomerang. That's what they do.
It's a boomerang. It comes back.
Also, there was a bit of genius high IQ foreshadowing where Sokka said, I do believe in the power of stuff. And you may see that Sokka was using a bunch of just random stuff to fight all the soldiers. It's the power of stuff.
That is Sokka's thing. Maybe that's what, like, this whole episode Sokka was trying to find his new thing. And he realized, oh, it's the same thing it's been all along. Stuff. I'm the stuff guy.
The things...
I'm the stuffed guy.
He's like, the things weren't in me all along. The things weren't in me all along. It was just all the stuff.
It was the stuff I had along the way.
Along the way.
Yeah, because then, not only that, he throws his little Sherlock pipe at the soldier who was aiming another fire arrow at him. And the pipe just lands perfectly, shloop, right onto the arrow, puts the fire out.
Yeah. And then Katara's fighting. She's good at water bending. Aang's fighting. He's good at air bending. It looks cool. And they beat the rough and rowdy Rhino Riders.
I do want to say, like, when Aang is fighting, a couple of things. When Aang is fighting, like, the main guy, he starts doing airbending like Spider-Man. I don't know if you noticed that.
No?
He's, like, slinging it out of his wrists
I see.
with the little, like, hand motion.
Yeah.
Which was good. And then we also get this main rowdy boy is using a little nitrous power with his firebending to get his rhino to go faster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought that was worth pointing out.
Nitrous.
Yeah, like a cool sort of Fast and Furious car.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of Need for Speed as a kid.
Mm-hmm. So then they celebrate a new Avatar Day.
Avatar Day 2. I was waiting for you to lean into the mic.
I was just thinking it was like Avatar Day.
Where they have a new tradition in which, God, this is so good. Their new Avatar Day treat is just raw dough in the shape of little eggs. Just to remember that he was not boiled in oil. Oh my God. What a fucking good episode. Is that the end?
Yes.
I think it's a perfect episode.
It is really
I'm going to go
good.
ahead and say it.
It is a perfect episode.
I could just rewatch this episode like every day and just feel a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll make that a tradition. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it.
Mm-hmm. This is completely unrelated, but I was thinking like, just like every time Todd Howard like re-releases Skyrim for something else, he's just like on the stage and he's just like, Skyrim?
Yeah. That would be really, really funny.
It would be funny. I'm not saying that it is, but it would be funny.
God, you're so right. We're not going to do 20 questions today.
Oh, we're not?
I think we...
Yeah, we already got rid of it.
We discussed just doing it for Tea with a Fascinating Stranger. If you have not listened to our last episode, we know that they're labeled bonus, but if you're comfortable with spoilers and such going unchronologically, go listen to our last and all of our Tea with the Fascinating Strangers because we have some fucking fascinating strangers.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's good shit. And this week, instead of doing 20 questions, we're gonna do a few questions from our listeners.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Listeners.
This is a little treat. We're not gonna probably do this very often, but we wanted to do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Our first question is from Twitter user Age of Oddish, friend and guest of the show, Stephanie. And she asks...
Stranger of the show.
Stranger of the show. Very good friend, stranger. Stephanie asks, for the main kids, what Animal Crossing species would they each be, and what would their personality types be?
Ooh, Aang is very floaty. So I feel like that he has to be like some type of bird.
Are you just saying that because he's an airbender?
Yes, but like... There's a lot of airbenders who have like more of a solid energy, like Tenzin.
That's true.
You know.
That's a good point, yeah.
Aang is...
But I feel like Aang could even be like a mouse too, though.
He could be a mouse. He's bouncy.
He's bouncy.
He's not just floaty, he's bouncy. Maybe he's a monkey. Maybe he's monkey.
Oh, I for sure feel that.
What if he's monkey?
He is monkey is the thing. He has monkey and he is monkey.
Yeah.
Aang monkey.
Monkey Aang. Plus he's got those ears.
As for his type, that's kind of tough. I kind of feel like he's more Uchi than anything else, to be honest.
What's Uchi?
Like the sisterly type.
Yeah.
Because he's just like helpful and yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's reserved for like girl characters, but I feel like it fits him best. Other than that, it would be like maybe Peppy.
Mm-hmm.
If he was in Animal Crossing, he'd probably be Peppy.
Yeah.
And then Katara, I already feel like Katara's probably a cat.
Cat
That's why her name is
Tara.
Cat Tara.
Tara. Well, we can't back out now.
And she would probably be snooty, unfortunately. I mean, the thing you gotta know about Avatar is that there's a lot of character development.
Mm-hmm.
I think she starts snooty just because that's really the only option she has in like response to the people around her.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she sort of grows into an Uchi type.
But she's also loud.
Are you saying she's a jock?
She might be No.
No.
But she likes to be loud.
So probably snooty.
Yeah.
And Sokka, I already know what he is like type wise.
Mm-hmm.
Animal's a lot tougher.
Animal.
Actually, Sokka is like a lot of different types, but the one that like feels the most correct is jock.
What if Sokka was a penguin?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I just don't want to offend our penguin lover listeners.
Yeah.
Because Sokka does have quite an abrasive, strange, but like a jock penguin, I feel like
a jock penguin.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
He's even from like the Northern Water Tribe.
That's what I was thinking.
Southern Water Tribe. Yeah, he's like ice boy jock, always trying to prove how big he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fits perfectly. So we got a monkey, Peppy, Aang. We got a snooty / Uchi cat Tara. Mm-hmm. And we got jock penguin Sokka. That feels right.
Was there another character?
Those are the main. I mean, Steph asked specifically the main kids, but you could maybe throw Zuko into like quote unquote main kids.
Toph.
We're not even there yet.
Okay.
I mean, like if you want to get into it, there's a lot of main kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can safely skip Toph until next episode.
Episode regulars. We'll reveal that in the next episode.
But if we wanted to get into Zuko, and I really do.
Okay.
I feel like he would be cranky for sure.
He is cranky.
Animal-wise, that's tough.
Lion seems low-hanging fruit.
That feels like what Iroh would be.
Yeah. Is Zuko a cat?
Might be a cat. Maybe that's why the Zutara ship feels so right sometimes.
The cat and cat relationship.
He kind of feels like maybe he's an ostrich too, though.
Yeah. What if he was a deer?
Cranky ostrich.
Or a wolf?
Oh, wolf. Of course. Cranky wolf boy.
Yeah.
That feels very right. Yeah. Okay. I feel like that covers it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephanie, for the question.
Thank you, Stephanie, for the question.
Good question.
Stephanie Rough Rider.
Right on Steph's coattails, we have another question from
Stephanie Rough Rhino, sorry.
Twitter user Maxi Bajillion.
Okay.
Good friend of the show, Max.
Okay.
With a very similar question.
Okay.
Or just, I guess, in the same...
same area.
Same genre.
Mm-hmm.
Max says, I have one question. Since nearly all the animals in the show are hybrids of two regular real-life critters, what hybrids would you place in the world spore style? And then...
Wait, what do you mean spore style?
He gives a couple of examples. Mm-hmm. Vulturefish, beetle puppy, cat dog.
Okay.
I think, the question is like, you are playing Spore and you're creating an animal to be put in Avatar.
Okay.
What gene splicing do you do? There are so many good answers to this, is the thing.
I've always loved the idea of the chaos that would ensue if you had like one of those like really small dogs. Just kind of like the, what's the general word for like a small dog?
Lap dogs.
If you had a lap dog that could like fly really fast.
Oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was going to say mix a cat and an owl because that sounds like the perfect animal. Then I was thinking owls are already cats.
That's true.
They're like cat birds.
But the thing is, owls, they don't like to be touched that much.
Neither do cats.
Cats like to be touched sometimes.
Well, have you ever tried to pet an owl?
Yes.
Yeah. They don't seem to hate it.
Yeah, but you're right. Owls are pretty catty.
They're cat birds.
They even love killing.
We have an avatar animal in real life, and it's owls. That's wow.
So
incredible.
I would say
Hey, this is just making me realize a lot of animals in real life could be described that way, like namely just the platypus in general as just a great sort of like shining example of this. Why did they name all of these animals like combinations of they could have just come up with new names for these animals. Call the platypus bear a glottis or something.
Okay.
They didn't have to come. Like, what if we were calling owls just like catbirds?
Okay. I would combine a Pomeranian with a hummingbird.
Absolutely not. Wait, what?
A Pomeranian. So
what?
It's got big bird wings, but it flies around like a hummingbird.
This sounds like something out of a horror movie. Can you imagine the sound that thing would make?
No, but I mean,
like a bee from absolute hell.
Hummingbirds barely make any sound, though.
What are you talking about? Have you ever seen a hummingbird up close?
So many
sound
times.
like bees.
Okay, so
I think now I feel like I'm losing my mind.
If anything, but that's because they're so small. If you're bigger, it would be like a.
And hummingbirds. Can we talk about hummingbirds? Hummingbirds are just bee birds.
They are bee birds. Bug birds.
How is it using its wings that fast?
So I'm saying, but a Pomeranian would
Isn't that
would
a
love
type
you.
of car?
Yes. A Pomeranian loves you.
I've never met a Pomeranian that loved me.
It loves to bark and it loves to get up right into your face.
You're losing me more and more.
It likes to lick your nose. And it always looks all happy and jolly.
I hate it.
You know?
Get it out of here.
It flies around the house.
Get it out.
It's excited.
I'm calling a good friend who's good with bugs to come and capture this and take it out of the house. I hate it, but I guess you used up your wish. My turn.
Did you say anything yet?
No, because I've just been just furiously trying to fend off this creature you've just summoned.
Okay, you go ahead.
My first instinct is I need to include a cat in there because cats are already perfect animals. But then the problem is how would you,
Oh, sorry.
How would you improve a cat?
Wait,
I know.
What?
I know.
What?
Everyone is going to feel really uncomfortable, but...
Okay.
A human cat.
No!
No. Hear me out. We know how...
I mean, there's...
Wait, shush. We know how the avatar animals work. Sometimes there's just one feature, even if it's a personality-based feature. It doesn't have to have any of the parts.
Okay.
If you can just make a cat that talks like a human and loves like a human and cries like a human and laughs like a human, that would be a perfect animal.
So you're not talking about
no,
Full Metal Alchemist.
No.
Kind of human cat. Okay.
What the fuck?
That's where my mind went.
And I'm not talking about cat girls either.
Okay.
I'm talking specifically about well, we can talk about cat girls on our other podcast. For now, I want to talk about cats that cry like human beings.
Oh, no.
Our next question. We have two from very good friend of the show, Matt Berger, who asks, Matt at Pulling Pork on Twitter asks, we'll do one question and then we'll do the other one and then we'll come back to the other one.
Okay.
Matt asks, number one, what gets you so hype that you foam at the mouth?
Gets me so hype when I foam at the mouth?
No. What gets you so hype that, in conclusion, you foam at the mouth?
Okay. Can you go first?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a lot of things.
Okay, you go ahead.
God, I'm such a passionate human being.
Mm-hmm.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, award-winning animated television show, gets me foaming at the mouth.
Mm-hmm. What gets me so hype that I foam at the mouth is when it's when you pour a beer.
I was literally gonna say like drinking a beer and getting that back up.
I was gonna say like I get so hype when I pour a beer that I pour it straight into the glass and not at the edge, and then it gets all foamy. But I'm so hyped that I just start drinking straight up foam, and I'm foaming at the mouth. That's what happens to me.
That is a very literal take. The cats are
I'm very impatient.
Actually trying to lock us in the office now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely, that'll do it. My cats.
Yeah.
Lemon Demon voice my cats.
Mm-hmm.
My cats.
Got small ones.
Tiny little cats. I wish these cats would take me away. They're so good. Literally, we've had our cats for over a year now, and we'll have them for many, many years to come. And every single time that I see them, I'm furiously trying to ignore them, like scratching at the door right now. Mm-hmm. But every single time I see them, like I'll get a little foggy, a little misty. Mm-hmm. It's incredible, the power of cats. Yeah. Have we talked about the cat parasite before?
Cat parasite? I feel like I'm not in the podcast, but I'm pretty sure it's been talked about.
Just in general,
yeah.
Well, if this is the first time you're hearing about it, there is a parasite. If you get scratched by a cat, you're very likely to get this parasite that most cats have, that they pass on to things that they scratch, that makes you love cats. It's like an evolutionary thing that gets rats and like critters to like come to them, and it works on humans for actual love. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. I would highly recommend getting scratched by a cat. Something else that gets me foaming at the mouth is my friends. Love you guys.
Oh.
Anything else, Noah?
No.
You're just sad existence. Next question is from Twitter user Argyle_Funk, friend of the show. Argyle also just like apropos of nothing sent the link to Unfried Dough, just like the wiki. I guess on the Avatar wiki, there's like an article about unfried dough.
Well, we have
I do have to click on this link now.
We have to look at the unfried dough.
Unfried dough is a local Earth Kingdom dish of Chin Village, human-shaped with an arrow pointing downward on its head. Unfried dough is modeled in the likeness of Avatar Aang, honoring how he saved the village of Chin Village from capture by the Fire Nation. History. On Team Avatar's visit to Chin Village. I'm not going to get into this, but thank you for that.
Do you think that in Legend of Korra, when they invent air fryers, they'll like, it's technically not unfried in a way? There's no oil. It never got boiled in oil.
It's in the name. It's still fried.
You know how air fryers work, right?
Literally no.
No, I don't know either. I'm pretty sure it's just magic.
I mean, science is magic. Argyle asks.
You put it in, and then it goes like, and then you fry it.
Argyle has a good question.
Argyle, talk to me.
Since the village likes the Avatar now, what fun non-punishments should they make into a wheel for the Avatar to spin?
Wheel of non-punishment, not just fortune, not anything good, just like a neutral non-punishment.
This is not going to punish you. I like to imagine that the wheel would include things like folding towels. Mm-hmm. Well, some people could see that as a punishment. We got to get more neutral. Mm-hmm. Maybe like the wheel of non-punishment could include such delicacies as clipping your nails, mm-hmm. or perhaps replacing your shoelaces with those little curly ones that you don't have to tie.
Mm-hmm. I would say maybe like a buy one get one free coupon for like a small fries at Burger King.
Okay.
Because you could say that you can't say that that's good or bad.
No, I am gonna I am required to like mention there is not a Burger King in the Avatar universe.
So whatever Buy one get one free. Half cabbage.
A buy one get one free half cap. Wait, why half?
I don't know. You can't get like two whole.
Don't get carried away.
Actually, yes. A buy one get one free.
Well, no. You already said half cabbage.
Okay.
That's what it is now.
Okay, buy one get one free half cabbage.
I see it half cabbage. The glass is.
The glass is half cabbage.
There might also be maybe like a portion of the wheel of non-punishment that says play some chess.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet there's one that just says spin again. Of course.
Yeah. And
maybe that's like most of the slots.
Yeah. And one of them is bankrupt.
What?
Bankruptcy.
Our next question, back at it again, Matt Berger. Matt's second question is, what do you think about this episode's theme of the subjectivity of criminals, criminality, and systems of justice shown in Zuko and the gang's plots? Given what seems like a bit of recent resurgence of the show, do you think it could help tap a new age of kids into the notion of abolition and reform by helping to simplify and contextualize what they may be seeing in the news into this progressive ideology? Or is simplification unnecessary and a social media feed as it is now easy enough to understand and enough to radicalize the young mind? Holy shit, Matt. What an excellent question that I feel fully unqualified to answer, but I'm going to do my best. Because yes, 100% agree with the first part and the second part. Because here's the thing. Absolutely, yes. This is a great way to like get kids into just sort of like cracking open that little walnut brain into like maybe considering that the justice system is absolutely fucking helping no one. But I think your point to like, is this simplification unnecessary? I think the thing is, I think a lot of the older Gen Z youth type watcher of the show is probably already going to have a more complicated understanding of the issue due to social media by now. But the thing is, they're going to be really young kids watching this show, which was where I was. And part of me wonders if, like, perhaps, in fact, no, I don't even have to wonder about it. I know for a fact that this show did a really good job of, like, sort of steering me in that direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%. I would not be... There are very few things that I can look back on and be confident that they actually helped me grow as a person, like media consumption-wise as a child, especially in the absolutely ridiculous, like, environment I personally grew up in. I know I can say with confidence that the show is very good at helping steer a child towards that radicalization.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's not like an... Yeah, I don't think it should be like an either or thing. Like, I think there should be all levels of complexity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you're writing like a whole book series versus like an episode of kids television.
100%. Sometimes
that's satire, you know?
I kind of want to like, there are like grown-ass adults on my fucking Facebook feed that I wish I could just like force to sit down and watch Avatar, because it's like clearly you need some kind of basic like very black and white like full color like a very cartoonish representation of these injustices in order to just like for you to entertain the idea.
Yeah.
To even like consider it. You know, so I do feel like absolutely there is a place for all of that. I think every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Even just like I said, today I've been in a really dark place and I was like, you know what, I just want to watch some Avatar today. That's how we're gonna spend our time today. And I think it's gonna make me feel better just because it always does. And especially like with the full content, like the context and the like the overall plot of this series is so like uplifting right now for like everything that's happening, because it's like just so simplistically relevant, but in a way it does make you feel less alone fighting these kinds of fights. And yeah, absolutely. Hearing Iroh say those things, even just as me today, it still helps. Still helps.
Yeah.
Fucking good show.
It is a good show.
So yes, and no, and no, and yes.
Yep.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. And that is all of our listener questions.
Nice.
Do you have any questions you want to share?
Yes, I have some questions from forums.avatarspirit.net.
Oh, hell yeah.
I could get to page 1, but I couldn't get to page 2 because the forums are down and I have to use Internet Archive.
Yeah, I don't know if we, talked about this yet, but, it's just, painfully, hilariously ironic that the episode... There was a few episodes ago where we were like, oh, yay, time to do our Avatar Spirit questions. And then I said, at least we always have the internet.
That was in the very episode that we found out.
Yeah, we didn't address it at the time, but it's just so ironic that we were like, we always have the internet. And then, moments later, narrator voice, moments later, they would find out that they would, in fact, not always have the internet.
Yeah. At least we always have Wayback Machine, which nothing will ever happen to Wayback Machine.
I genuinely don't know if you heard the bad news.
I have heard the bad news.
Oh, thank God. I was like, I do not want to have this discussion right now.
Here's a question from Ignite444. Ooh, their role is Hotman.
I recognize that name.
Oh.
Because it's that 444, which I always put on my username. Could be me. Still don't know.
Is it me, or is that whole scene with Aang talking to the thugs familiar somehow?
I mean, yeah, because I've seen the episode.
Yes, because I've seen the episode a while ago. A few times.
Yeah.
Lethe.
What was that?
Lethe.
Lethe?
Lethe.
Lethe Crunch.
Lethe Crunch. Lettuce Lethe? Asks, or says, I think it's pretty obvious Zuko will become friends with Aang. My guess is at the end of this book. By the way, did you guys watch the preview for the next episode? It looks awesome.
Hell yeah. Everyone is so stoked for the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I am actually surprised that this person, presumably, likely a kid, actually picked that up because as we have been seeing with lots of people or watching it for the first time right now, since it's on Netflix now, aren't really seeing these things happening as much. They aren't getting the same vibes. I wonder if it's I don't know if it's a product of, I don't know. Is it just back then it seemed more likely and now, you know what? Yeah, because I feel like a lot of media nowadays is just dark all the time and nothing good ever happens in anything anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is there needs to be more good, wholesome content.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people nowadays have a harder time believing that people like Zuko can ever redeem themselves. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Someone 198. That's their username.
Nice.
Someone 198. No profile picture or anything. Just guessed.
They're just really desperate to get this question in.
Sokka. Hello. My name is someone 198, and I'm here to say that.
Yes, you there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I have a question.
Okay.
Sokka has rotten luck when it comes to girls. What are the chances that both girls he seriously liked would either leave or die to do their part to save the world? In the words of Ron Stoppable, are all girls like this, or just the ones I know?
I'm pretty sure this is Sokka's curse, Sokka's trick.
Sokka's curse trick.
I have a good friend who seems to have this exact same problem. We're not going to get into it. I think people just are like this sometimes. Really bad luck.
Yeah.
People seem to be like always interested in the same kinds of people. And sometimes those people happen to be people that turn into the moon.
Yeah. Lucille? Lucille
Lucille Bluth?
Lieselle. Lucille?
Liselle.
Liselle says,
Well, I just got foamy at the mouth. Go ahead.
speaking of foamy at the mouth, oh, foaming man, where would we be without you?
Oh, foaming man,
oh, foaming man, your mouth is overflowing. Oh, foaming man, your mouth is very
your
foamy.
branches. I love your foamy mouth and lips. I want to kiss your foamy lips. Oh, foamy man, however are your branches?
Well, that answers all the questions.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What are your cabbages?
Oh, here's my cabbage. What are your cabbages?
Oh. Well, you asked.
Well, I did ask.
And that's the show.
Wait. The end.
Wait.
What?
We need to do our plugs.
Oh, wait, no, our plugs. Why do we always forget the plugs?
I didn't. You were about to stop the show. This is not my fault. We have some fun plugs this time.
Mm-hmm. If you well, let's just plug ourselves first, real quick. Where can people find you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, little old me?
Little old you.
You can find me on Twitter at Stellar Ghost if you're so inclined to be on Twitter in these trying times. Otherwise, I do love to redirect people just straight to my website just because I feel like it's a fun experience if you haven't been there, summergeist.com. Try to view it on a fucking like desktop computer if you can, if you can do that.
Yeah.
Cuz it's good and all my shit is on there. And lately I've mostly been using Instagram. So if you want to follow my Instagram, it's Sailor Sun, like Sailor Moon, but with the sun instead. What about you?
Just follow me on Twitter at OwlDude. I have my Linktree link right there.
Yeah.
If you want to try to put in this Linktree thing, figure out what that dot is. It's a linktree.ee/Geist, but that's not easy to remember. It's just at OwlDude on Twitter and Tumblr.
So simple.
Why did I sound nervous?
I don't know. You're like wringing your hands too.
I'm just fidgety.
Also, very important. Well, it's not important. It doesn't actually matter at all. But if you want to join our Discord, there is a tweet on our Pod Cabbages Twitter. I guess you can also, first of all, follow Pod Cabbages on Twitter at my Pod Cabbages. And you can find our Discord there too. We now have a public Discord. We've had it for a long time, but it's finally now public. And it's actually a really good time. I'm surprised at how hopping it is right now.
Yeah, they say it's really hopping.
We have a lot of good emojis. Compost-ang.
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 And of course, as always, we are delighted to be part of the Noise Space Network, noisespace.xyz, where you can find such wonderful podcasts as the ones we've mentioned previously on previous episodes, but also there's a brand new one.
Yeah, if you hated how we covered this half detective episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, like, what are these people talking about? This is so hard to follow. Maybe you should listen to an actual good detective show podcast called Elemenopy. based on the
hate
show
the way you said that.
Elementary.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. The